let's get started. So the warm-up, I think you know how to do everything. Jumping jacks, high knees, booty kicks, arm circles. Remember bear hugs, really stretch those arms, the upper body. Okay, the first exercise in the circuit is a walking lunge. So reverse lunge, you step backwards. A walking lunge, you're actually going to walk, take steps, you're going to be alternating that lunge, okay? The difference is you're going to be holding a dumbbell in one hand. So hold it in your right hand when you're stepping out with your left leg. And when you step out, you're going to pass that dumbbell underneath the leg. And then you'll take your next step and pass that dumbbell underneath the leg. What it's doing is as you're lunging, it's forcing you to get nice and low. So what you don't want to do is bend over to pass the dumbbell underneath. You want to drop those hips nice and low to pass it underneath. And that is the progressed form. So if you need to start without weights, that's fine. Get used to the walking lunges. Line jumps, remember you're jumping back and forth across an imaginary line. Always when you do line jumps, the focus is to keep your center of gravity low and you're fighting for speed. This is an agility movement. So you're trying to train your body to change directions very quickly. So you don't want to jump back and forth like this. You want that center of gravity nice and low, hips kind of staying in the same spot, and you're just moving them back and forth, keeping the feet together. Tricep push-ups, remember these are when you're laying on the ground, you have your arm crossed over, you're lowering down. As you move your hand farther away from your body and keep it up by your head, it's easier. As you move it towards your body and down to your hip, it makes that movement more difficult. Okay, push-ups. Just remember to fight for depth. Really try to get that chest down to the ground. Now, as you start doing push-ups a little bit more often, if you're doing them on your knees and you want to start training to do them up on your toes, I'll go ahead and show you that in this workout. What you want to do is start on your toes and slowly lower yourself all the way down to the ground so that your entire body's on the ground. Put your knees down and push yourself back up. Start on your toes. Slowly lower yourself so you're teaching your body to control a controlled, slow descent down to the ground. That is how you train to be able to do them on your toes, and eventually you'll be able to lower yourself down to the ground and not have to lie down. You'll just be able to push yourself back up. That's how you train to do that. Okay, squat pulse. So we've done a lot of different kinds of squats. For this one, toes forward, toes up, weight in the heels, knees in line with that second toe. You're going to sit back as far as you can in that squat, little tiny pulses. So this will burn. This is my challenge for you anytime you do a squat pulse. It will burn, always, when we do squat pulse. You have to kind of find a happy place. However, when it's to the point where you think you cannot take it anymore, try to resist standing all the way up. Instead, if you're here doing your squat pulse and it's starting to burn and you don't think you can handle it 1 second more, raise up just a little bit, but keep some of that tension on the quads, the big muscles in the front of the leg. If you can, that's your challenge. Try not to stand all the way up because as soon as you do, you release all of that tension that you've been working so hard for. So just try to do that when you're doing your squat pulse. Okay, floppy burpees. Very similar to a burpee with a push-up, except it's a little bit uglier and a little bit less controlled. So you're going to go down, let yourself fall to the ground, push yourself back up, and come up. So it is not a push-up. You're going to flop all the way to the ground, push yourself back up. Okay, ballet squat. So feet a little bit farther apart than a regular squat, and toes turned out, like a ballerina. You can have your hands in front of you, you can have them on your hips, wherever is comfortable, but you're just going to drop those hips straight down and come back up. So this is going to open up the hip flexors. You'll feel a little bit of flexibility going on in the hip flexor area as well, in the inner thigh. And just when you get to the top, really squeeze those buns, squeeze your booty, and pull them under because it's going to work just some different muscles from a regular squat. Let's see. Mountain climbers, remember, just keep your shoulders over your wrists when you're doing your mountain climbers. Keep those hips nice and steady. Climb that mountain. Okay, 3 direction lunges. So we're going to step forward into these lunges. You're going to keep your toes in line, so it's going to be a slight twist all the way out to the side. Keep those toes in line with one another. Okay, so that back foot is actually going to pivot. So you're doing straight forward, slightly diagonal, and then all the way off to the side. Okay, single leg lateral curl. This is another type of bicep curl. You're going to start with your palms facing away from your hips, and those dumbbells are just going to come straight up at your sides. Try not to dig your elbows into your sides. Don't use your body to help lift the weights, and also let those arms go all the way straight every time you come down into bicep curl. Okay, then you're going to switch legs. We're going to do an upright row. Nice tall back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Your hands are starting. The palms are facing your hips, and you're going to just lift it straight up. Okay, so what you want? This is another good one to do in front of a mirror. What you want to avoid is this. Or this. When those arms come up and it's like you're holding a bucket or a couple of buckets by the handles. So the knuckles will be on top, and you want those arms nice and flat, nice straight across, forearms parallel to the biceps. Okay, so you're just going to keep lifting up. And again, this is another one of those that you want to avoid as you lift that. Avoid hunching those shoulders. So keep the shoulders nice and low, back nice and tall. Pull those shoulder blades down the back. Okay, a goblet squat. You can hold a weight like a goblet. Hold it in front of you like this, or you can start without weight. Kind of the same. It's in between a squat position and a ballet squat. So you want your feet a little bit farther than shoulder width, but not as far as a ballet squat. Feet turned out like a ballet squat, but not quite as far. Ballet squat is a little bit farther, okay, because we're going to target some different muscles. You are going to keep your back nice and straight as much as you can, and elbows in. I'm going to lower all the way down, okay? Now, at the bottom of this squat, you want to kind of push those knees apart with your elbows so that you're working on the hip flexibility, and the goal is to keep the heels flat, okay? So you're going to lower down, keep the heels flat, because what you're going to want to do is raise up on those toes. So we want to strengthen the leg muscles that will help you keep your heels nice and flat. Okay, so from the side, this is what it looks like. So you can see you're not leaning forward very much at all. You're going to keep a nice straight back, and what that does is it puts the emphasis on the muscles that are supposed to be working during this movement. And again, you can start without a weight just to get the feel of the movement. Okay, sit-ups. You remember, use your arms. Really use your arms when you first start. If you do crunches, get those legs up in the air, hands shooting straight for the sky. Cobra. Laying flat on your stomach. Palms up, and you're just going to come up, lift the legs, lift the arms, lift the upper body, and the legs, and just hold it. And then plank. We do lots of planks, so we'll really work on that nice plank position. Anytime we do plank, always try to be progressing. So you're trying to move from your forearms up to your hands, and plank, side plank, and all those different movements. Okay, have fun with this one.